Viewers at home, good day. It depends on the time and the region from where you are watching us. So where in the world, it could be in the morning now, afternoon, or evening. So I greet you with the greeting of your time and region. My name is Unecho John from the station of Unity Star Television Africa. And on Society in Focus today, I am having with me a senior advocate of Nigeria, a legal expert, but because I don't want to make mistake in mentioning people's name, like I used to do, I will prefer going back to, especially when it has to do with a lawyer and a military personnel, you don't dare mix their name up if you don't want to see yourself behind the gun. So, sir, for the sake of the viewers at home, can you tell our viewers your name, sir?
Greetings to viewers out there. My name is George Ibrahim. By the grace of God, I am a senior advocate of Nigeria, practicing in the heart of our country.
Thank you. We want to take a look at the immunity clause of the governor. That clause immunity is one of the law or the legal frame that empower the governor with a lot of authority. From the legal perspective, what exactly is the scope of the immunity clause, the immunity power granted to the governors by the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria?
Thank you so much for this question. Before I talk about the scope of the immunity granted to the governors, I would like to quickly highlight the rationale, which is that the basis for that immunity. You know, for instance, in section 176, sub 2 of the Constitution, the governor is referred to as the chief executive officer of the state. The governor is the chief law officer of the state. And the reason for immunity is to prevent the chief of law officer, chief executive officer of the state from being, for his attention being diverted from focusing on the core issue of governance. That is the reason why in section 308 of the Constitution, it has been provided that the governor, deputy governor, the president, and as well as vice president, these political office holders are immune from criminal prosecution and as well as civil prosecution during the subsistence of their tenure in office. They are immune from both civil and criminal liability while they are in office, so that they can focus on the issues that have to do with governance without distractions. Because if they are subjected to criminal or civil prosecution here and there, because as human beings they are bound to make mistakes one way or the other, and even in giving in the discharge of their functions, they could have stepped on one to or the other. So if they allow everybody to be dragging them here and there in court, they will obviously be distracted and they will not be able to focus on governance and deliver the dividends of democracy to the people.
That's in a layman term, to a lay person that is not a lawyer. You are saying while they are in office, they cannot be tried and prosecuted for any offense in the time that they are still in the office.
Yes, absolutely, you are correct. They cannot be prosecuted in court. Nobody can sue them, particularly in their personal capacities. You can only sue the governor in his official title. As in, for instance, you can sue the governor of Niger State, but you not go take a personal action against the governor himself. But as for the discharge of the administrative function, can be sued in that capacity officially, because that is like an office itself. The office can be sued because office is a continuum. You can continue with that proceeding even if the person holding the office currently is no longer there. You continue with the governor. The governor will always be the governor. But for a particular office, like those of us who are from Kogi State, now we have Odudu as a governor. You can't take any civil proceeding against Odudu as a person, or even a criminal proceeding against Odudu as a person, so that they will not be distracted from the core issue of government. But you can sue the government of Kogi State. You can sue the governor of Kogi State if you want. And of course, the Constitution has provided them with an Attorney General, which is the Commissioner of Justice of the state, to take the proceedings on behalf of the state or on behalf of the government. In that, if you recall, as even as we speak, there are a lot of cases that are pending against the president of Nigeria, not against Tinubu,
but against the
government. in the official function, dealing with the decisions that is taken on behalf of the government of Great Britain, that can be done. But for personal prosecution, it can never be done unless the tenure of office elapses.
All right, can the immunity of the governor extend to cover any other person outside the governor and the deputy governor, maybe like his aide, his political associate, or any other person around him? Can the immunity extend to cover them?
Yes, not the aides particularly, but like I started from the beginning, the immunity covers not only the governor but the deputy governor.
Aside the governor and the deputy
governor, it does not extend to any other person. It does not extend to his family members. It does not extend to his associates, his aides, or friends. It has to do with the governor or deputy governor. It does not even extend to the wife of the governor.
Okay, then what is the, are there exceptions to this immunity or a limitation to the immunity clause that covers the governor and his deputy?
Well, the only thing that can happen while the holder of office of the governor or deputy governor or president or vice president is holding office is they are not immune from criminal investigation. Because you are a governor, even either in the discharge of your duty as governor or because of your personal interest, you've committed a crime. The law can be set in motion against you for the purpose of investigation, but not for prosecution while you're still in office. But if you leave office, then you can take it. That once you leave office, the immunity is over.
If, for instance, a governor is alleged to have stolen money while in office, you are saying they can be investigated or cannot be prosecuted after the time he's still in office. But cases can be filed against him and he can be investigated.
But when you are doing the investigation, it's not about going to court yet. If you go to court against him, the matter would ordinarily become incompetent. But you can investigate because we have investigating agencies like the EFCC, like the police. They have the power, like ICPC. They have the power to investigate any allegation against his government, whether as a result of the abuse of his office or as a result of personal commitment. Maybe he has gone to kill someone, for instance. The law can be set in motion for the purpose of investigation. Everything that is being discovered in the course of investigation will be kept in abeyance pending when the tenure of the holder of the office of the governor or the deputy governor is over. Then the immunity would have gone, because immunity does not extend to a former governor. It's when you are holding the office as a governor. Once you are no longer in office, the immunity goes. And that is the case of IGP against Fayemi. I have restrained myself from mentioning cases because I know that a lot of our viewers are not lawyers. But then in that case of IGP against Fayemi, that was a case that was instituted in the year 2000 or thereabout. There was an oath taken by the governor then of Lagos State, who is the our president now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And then the information he provided about oath taking, that he went to certain schools. And in the estimation of Chief Gani Fayemi of blessed memory, he discovered that from the oath he took twice, that some of the things he stated were not actually correct by his own estimation. And because being a private citizen, there was nothing he could do other than to report to the police. So he now wrote a letter to the Inspector General of Police for investigation of the governor of Lagos State. And the police declined that, citing this case of Section 308 of the Constitution, which has given the governor immunity from both civil and criminal prosecution. Gani was not, for those who were privileged to be around him, or who have read history about him, you know that he's a man that doesn't give up on what he believes in. But probably when it has to do with fair governance and all the protection of the rights of the people. So he went to court. He took out a summons at the Lagos State Federal High Court in Lagos State against the Inspector General of Police.
After the tenure of the governor, or while the
governor was in office. Okay. While the governor was in office, he went to the court to compel the Inspector General of Police to commence the investigation of the governor. And then he went to the High Court, Federal High Court, then by Justice Igwegbo. And then he lost. He went to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal, up to the Supreme Court, agreed with him that yes, the governor was immune from criminal and civil prosecution, but that that does not stop the investigation of the police against him even while he's in office. So and that has become the locus classicus, as lawyers call it, has become the authority on that field, that governors can be investigated. And there are a lot of cases that are also common, cases of FRN against Alabisia. Alabisia, the former governor of Bayelsa State, the case of Darie against Federal Republic of Nigeria. They are all there that once somebody is in office, he cannot be investigated. But immediately he leaves office, he can be investigated. Look at the case of Darie, for instance. When he was governor, there was no prosecution that was possible against him, but the investigation of his activities were ongoing. And immediately he left office as governor, he was tried, even convicted. He was even convicted. It's the same thing with Alabisia. He was even tried and convicted because they lost at that material time this power of immunity. I think Alabisia case, if I'm not mistaken, I think his own case was about impeachment also. And then immediately that was done, immunity had gone, and then government was able to take it over.
All right, finally, before we round off the discussion, considering the debate against the immunity, a lot of people pose the view that the immunity clause is being misused or abused by those in power. As a legal expert, what is your view about it? Will you advise amendment of the immunity clause so in the interest of good governance, or it should be allowed the way it is?
It is a very sad thing that those in recent times who have assumed position of governance over the poor masses in Nigeria have not been responsible enough. Because the essence, like immunity, is not peculiar to Nigeria. There are advanced democracies that have immunity. Some of them, to some extent, even have immunity of protecting former office holders like them from criminal or civil prosecution. Some advanced democracies have that in certain specified forms. But in the case of Nigeria, they intentionally hiding under the cover of this immunity to perpetrate a lot of fraud, and believing that even when they come out, provided they have money, they'll be able to sort themselves out, sort the security agencies or use money or whatever to cover their mouth or from being investigated or prosecuted. That is the only dangerous thing here. If not, if you look at the rationale behind the immunity clause, which I earlier mentioned, it's a very good thing. You can't be dragging a man, because in other climes, people go into politics for the purpose of service, for the purpose of having a good name. But in Nigeria, people go into politics because of what they can make out of it. That is how dangerous it is. Otherwise, if the reason for political intervention in every situation, like we have like democracy in Nigeria that has come in since 1999, is for effective governance, is to make sure that they deliver the dividends of democracy to the people. I will tell you that immunity is a good thing where responsible leaders are at the helm of affairs. But having seen the trend situation of late, it is a very sad thing that the immunity clause is being abused. But I will not advise that immunity clause should be taken away completely, because if it's taken away, our office holder like governor, they will be susceptible to all manner of attack. Just like you say, it could be the view of the majority, but I believe there are also other compasses out there who are also strong proponents of that the immunity should remain. I feel immunity should remain, but that our security agencies should be proactive enough to launch investigation into any infraction, any abuse of power, or use of the state resources to better personal causes on the part of these office holders, so that immediately this, like we said, this thing is over, they can take them up. And if the reason why they are not afraid is not because of the fact that there will not be prosecution at the end of the day, but because of the fact that they believe they can solve their way out through fraudulent processes. That is the danger of it. But I will never advise that immunity clause should be completely removed. If there can be moderation in some way by the National Assembly, I support that. But immunity is actually supposed to be a positive thing, but being used negatively in Nigeria, and that is a sad scenario.
Okay, I said finally earlier, but there's still a place because when it comes to law, I'm a layman. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't have much understanding of law. I will still get to want to. I still want to get a doubt clear.
Okay.
I still have some doubt somewhere in the scope of the immunity of a governor.
Mm.
If, for instance, I'm not a governor and neither am I the deputy governor, but I have a pending case that demand me being arrested, and I am on a convoy or within the protection of the governor. Am I covered by his immunity that the law cannot pick me up from his convoy or from his office or area where I am protected by security men?
Once there is a warrant of arrest issued against anybody, immunity, like I earlier said, does not come. It only protects the governor.
The governor
Who is in office, who is sitting as an individual, sitting in that position, only him is protected. He's covered by immunity. His family members, his wife, his relatives, brothers, sisters, they are not covered by immunity. If a governor is using the instrumentality of the immunity that he enjoys to protect anybody that is wanted, that is sheer act of irresponsibility. Like I mentioned before, that is a sheer act of irresponsibility on the part of the government. And then I know that a situation like that, the security operative will want to exercise restraint because one, the governor himself enjoys some measure of protection, even security coverage. Like I told you, the governor is the chief law officer of the state or the security officer of the state. So he enjoys protection.
But that does not mean that legally I cannot be picked from there.
He can be picked. That's why the if a responsible government, a governor, if there is a warrant of arrest issued against an individual who is in the convoy or is with the governor, even in the governor's office, what if police officer is approaching you with a warrant that I have a warrant to arrest you? A responsible governor will say, take him, let the law take its course. Like we said, our political officers are irresponsible in Nigeria. And that is why a lot of things are going wrong. Now, poor masses are suffering. They have seen the wealth that belongs to the masses as their own personal estate. That's why they kill because of political office. They kill for political gains. If I'm to be in governance, and it's for the purpose of protecting my name because of the good things I'm to do to the people, I mean for the people, why should I kill for another? If the people say they don't want me, I'll go away. You can see the case of the US. The president wanted to contest. He desired to contest as a man for the second the tenure. But have we seen some certain incapabilities?
And then that he won't contest.
Yes, and he will do responsibly. In Nigeria, they will never withdraw. Even if they are dying, they want to go there because it's not about the people, it's about what they seek to gain. The fastest way Nigerians believe in getting money is to get into politics and then what's it called? Get the resources of the state for their self-aggrandizement. That is the sad situation in Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much for being with us on the program. We want to give you just some second or 1 minute to round up on everything. Do a recap of everything that we discussed so far and your view on the subject.
Okay, thank you so much. The topic of discussion before us this day is the scope of the immunity enjoyed specifically by the governor of the state. And we have explained the provision of Section 208 of the Constitution, which has given this immunity to certain political officials, of which the governor is one of them. The governor, the deputy governor, and then at the higher level is the president and the vice president. And that this immunity only inures for the benefit of these office holders while the tenure of their offices last. Immediately, the governor's tenure is over, that immunity also dies. And that this immunity is for the purpose of protecting them from criminal and civil proceedings in court so that they can concentrate squarely on the core duty of governance because they have sworn to an oath for effective leadership and to provide dividends of democracy to their subjects. They don't want to be distracted. That's why the draftsman, that is the lawmaker, have sat down and look at this issue critically and said that to give them this immunity. But I've mentioned that in the situation of like IGP and the FIME, which is the close classical that I mentioned, the governors are not immune from criminal investigation, from their criminal conduct, even before they enter office or while they are in office. They can be investigated. And while this investigation is going on, if a prima facie, there is a reasonable ground to believe that they can be prosecuted. Even when they are in office, the law enforcement officers or the investigators can keep their gunpowder dry, awaiting when the immunity is over for them to do the right thing. And then, of course, investigating a governor while in his office can never, I will never subscribe to the idea that they feel that is a wishing. There's nothing like wishing about it. Because you see, the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which we enjoy, has given us enormous doubt that every person standing a criminal trial is presumed to be innocent. So if you investigate you doesn't mean that we have convicted you. If you are innocent, the court of law is there to extray the facts presented by the two sides and see at the end of the day whether you are to be exculpated or you are to be punished. And then the immunity, as it were, it was meant to be something positive. Not to distract our leaders. Because believe our leaders are like the compass. The directors are way full in the right person. Because sadly, if you review the incident that has happened or the trajectory of the 1999 this Fourth Republic, started in 1999, you find out that a lot of governors, particularly, have abused this immunity, and that is why there is this concern from critical stakeholders that section of the Constitution should be amended or should be modified in some other terms. But like I said, it is meant to be a positive thing that even in advanced crimes, there are immunity to these office holders. But in Nigeria, the National Assembly can look at it some way and see. But I believe if immunity is removed completely, the negative effect will far outweigh what we are witnessing presently.
Viewers, this is the much you can take on the program Society in Focus today, and we hope to see you again on another edition of the program. My name is Onya Jojo, and my guest on the program today.
I am George Ibrahim, Senior Advocate of Nigeria.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, viewers.
USTV, Unity Star Television, always ahead.